Page 22, Reverie. Here they're covering the idea of the thumb under the third finger. The thumb, okay. At the top they give you all this. Again, I use scales for this. If you can do the scales, you should be okay. Now this piece happens to be in the key of A flat major, 4 flats. So this would be a good time to go do my scale video on A flat major. If you don't know the scale, do the beginner portion. If you do know the scale, do the intermediate portion. Learn the scale, it's important. And you'll cross your thumb under your third finger on that, on both hands. That's the beauty of it. We got to work both hands. In Reverie, we will get this. So let's go over this. I'm going to start with the right hand. 6/8 time with a pickup beat. So you're coming in on beat 6. 6, 1, and then hold that down for 5 counts. And then 6, hold that down for 5 counts. And then 1, 2, now you're crossing the thumb under from here to here. Can you do that? Pretty much is what it is. It's 1, 2. What they don't tell you is it's also awkward when you go from a B flat to an A flat C. And the way I do this is I don't use the fingers so much. I'm using weight and I'm transferring weight finger to finger. But when I go from the C to the, I put my hand in the position where for the A flat and the C that I want, and the hand is already sort of down because I played the B flat. And all I do is I raise the wrist, and as the wrist comes down, I lower these other fingers with it and then raise the other finger, ring finger. So it takes some practice, but again, you need the finger independence and the control to be able to do this. So I encourage you to do it in both hands. You can do it, say, on an F sharp. Sounds terrible, doesn't matter. It's really good practice. And then at the end of the first line, then you come down and put your 4th finger on the F. There's no time, but it's between a phrase. So you're just lifting the hand and move it here. Here, and then you do this sort of again, and then the last line you come up, you're here, and the thumb comes under. Try and bring out the top note if you can, because that's the melody. That's what we want to hear. And then the next measure is written here, but it has an 8 VA over it, so it's up here. Very softly, and here, and then here. It's the same notes, different octaves. Now, left hand, rolling chords. You hear? So here, next one, and then the last measure. You're here. The 5th finger's got to come up. You get 1/8 rest, or an 1/8 rest to do. Put in a treble clef there. See, they can change these clef signs anytime they want. You just can't trust them. You don't know. And the next line is basically the same. The last line, treble clef again, up here, E flat, G, and then A flat, E flat, 5/2 there, and then up here, A flat, E flat, because we're still in treble clef. And now the bass clef comes back, and here. I'm recommending 5/2 on each of these. The idea is there are different styles of fingering involved in piano. And the one that I use the most, the one I was taught, is I won't put a thumb on a black key if there's another way of doing it, in most cases. Sometimes it's best to use the thumb on the black key. But like in this case, when I'm doing an A flat, E flat, if it's feasible, I'll use 5 and 2 rather than 5 and 1. Can't always do that, but that's why I'm using 5/2, not 5/1. The book says 5/2 also, but I'm trying to explain some whys and wherefores so you kind of understand what's going on. Now when you put these together, there's counting 1/8 notes. So it's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3. See, a quarter note gets 2 counts. 2/8 notes. Again, at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. We need to hear that 8th rest in the left hand there. So G comes up on the B flat, so it's by itself, and that gives you a chance to move your hand. 2, 4, 5. Hopefully that'll be okay for you. Now, medium soft, and that's the melody. Stop note in the right hand. Everything else has to be softer than that. So if this is medium soft, then the left hand's got to be soft or softer. And then you have a crescendo in the next to the last measure of the first line, and now you can start getting up a little louder. Don't get loud, just a little louder. And then come back down to medium soft, I mean. And then in the second line, again, we get this crescendo, and then a decrescendo, so it's... So here, the decrescendo is going to be more in the left hand, so these make each one a little softer. And then there's an 8th rest at the end of the second line for both hands, so we get 1 beat of silence, nothing happens. And then we go on. Now it's soft, which is softer than you were. Soft. And there's a poco ritardando there. That means you're going to slow down a little bit. Just a little. And get softer. You're soft to begin with. How soft can you get? Don't use the soft pedal, please. Do it with the fingers. And then next to the last measure, you have very soft, and it's all tempo. All tempo means to resume your speed. So we're up here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, off. Now on top of all that, once you get all that going, then you add the pedal. Oh, won't this be fun? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. The first full measure, it's here. I'm going to lift the pedal up before I play, or when I play the F. That 8th note F, because the left hand has a rest and the pedal, we want to hear the rest. So the first line or so is this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in that measure right there, next to the last measure, because I don't want to smear the sound. You know that. I bring the pedal up, or let the pedal up when I play the G in the right hand. Right there. So it's... You got to keep the left hand quarter note down for its length. The only note in the right hand that's by itself is the B flat. And at the last measure, bring the pedal up with the hands. We want a little silence, total silence before you play the F. Bring the pedal up with the hands at the end of the second line. So we hear an 8th rest, a 1 beat rest in both hands. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rest type thing. Then last line, I'm going to bring the pedal up when I play the G. Second measure, I push the pedal down right after I play the notes. Now I'm going to legato pedal this. I'm going to keep the pedal down, and then I'm going to, after I play the notes in the next measure, I'm going to raise the pedal and lower it. And now I'm going to leave the pedal down until the song is over. And then the hands and the pedal come up at the same time at the end of 5 counts. That's really pretty. Let's play this together slowly just to double check the notes and the rhythms and all that. It's marked andantino. There's a difference of opinion on what andantino means. Some people say it's a little slower than andante, and some people say it's a little faster than andante. I don't care to get into it. To me, I tend to play it a little slower than andante, but again, it's 6/8 time. And at 6/8 time, when you're counting 8th notes, that's not really slow. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's not really slow. So if I slow it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To me, that's a little too slow. I like it to move and flow a little bit better, but we're going to go really, really, really slow. How fast you end up taking it ultimately is up to you. Just try and stay in the andante to... See, andante isn't slow. Andante is more like it's a nice casual walking pace. It's just a little slower than moderato. That's andante. Slow would be like adagio. And I would take this just a little slower than a casual pace. Like a real old person's casual pace. Like something like... Oh, that's not either, because that's more like adagio. Never mind. So I'm going to give us 5 counts. And let's sort of play this really slowly together just to check everything. And I'm not going to do the dynamics. You can do the dynamics. I just want to check the notes and the rhythms. So go ahead and put your right hand here. Your left hand's here to start. The foot's on the pedal. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5. 2, 5. 2, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off.